Keep your hands steady, Three.
Again! Again! Make it squeal again.
We're juicing it up. The beast came in here with those robbers, killed Dink and Mince too. Boss is thinking of serving it to the wargs.
And it makes funny noises. We made it squeal. Look, you'll see. Give me that rock. I'll show ya.
Oh, you're also, yes, of course.
A shadow swims across your vision, and a familiar voice tells you to be calm. You are loved.
But I want to hear him squeal.
One. That's a true soul you're talking to. Show some respect.
Sorry, true soul. I'll open the cage for ya.
The bear sizes you up, wary but not yet attacking.
That's a giant ass spider! What the? Oh, but I have Misty Step, don't I? Oh, wow. Gotcha. Prox opportunity. Fuck you.
Again.
Excellent. Go for the throat. Don't linger.
Try something else.
I'm ready. I don't fancy their chances.
Let's get this over with.
Yes.
Talk to me.
pardon the viscera. One should cherish all of nature's bounty, but goblin guts are quite far down the list. You aided a bear without knowing if it would savage you. A true friend of nature. Or perhaps a lunatic. Either way, I owe thanks. I am the druid Halsin. Ah, lunatic then. A jest. I truly am grateful. If only I could repay you. That look in your eyes. I've seen it before. Are you feeling all right? Oak Father preserve you, child. You're infected, aren't you? The Mind Flayer's spawn. But something's different. You're aware of the monster inside you. You don't bow to the Absolute like the true souls do. How is this possible? Perhaps. But I wouldn't want to place all my faith in blind luck. It's no coincidence that you found me here, I'll wager. You're after a cure for this parasite. I've been studying these parasites for a while now. Ever since I discovered these so-called true souls are infected with them. Someone is using very powerful magic to modify these tadpoles. They're using them to exert control over the infected. I'm sorry to say, I can't undo that magic, which means I can't cure you. But that doesn't mean I can't help. I didn't find what I came here for, a way to remove the tadpoles, but I found the next best thing. I found out where they come from. That must be where these enchantments are placed on them. And it's where you'll find your cure.
Let's go home and bring
A drow forced me to defend myself. Afterwards, I was able to study the parasite that slithered out of the corpse, see what drives these true souls. I had no idea anyone beyond their ranks was infected. You have my sincere sympathies. No, this is different. Altered. The magic used is beyond me. It's either not of this world or so ancient as to be lost to even nature's memory. I overheard that the cultists are sending all of their captives to Moonrise Towers. Innocents go in, true souls come out. Given that all of these true souls are infected, it has to be the source for this magic. If you want to find a cure, you must head there and discover how the tadpoles are being manipulated. I wish I could, but there's still work I've no right to ask more of you. But if you could help me, I'd be free to join your journey to Moonrise. I cannot allow these butchers to threaten my grove. The natural order must be protected. My thanks. Rare is the beast that survives decapitation. Help me eliminate the Drow Minthara, the Hobgoblin Draw Ragzlin, and that perversion of a priestess, Gut. They are the ones holding these parasites together. Remove them, and nature will cure itself. You Drow relish turning on your own if there's something to be gained. Don't pretend otherwise. Unfair of me, perhaps. But I've had few encounters with Drow to make me think otherwise. Perhaps you can enlighten me. There is no safety. Not while this rot festers. Once it is cut out, once the grove is secure, then I shall leave. May Sylvanas guide your hand. Focus on the leaders. That's all it will take to restore the balance here.
Decaying legs protrude from the hole. A failed escape, it seems. It seems the tunnel collapsed mid-dig and suffocated him. A crooked heart is embroidered on his left shoe.
Oh, yeah! That last soul coin was just what I needed. I feel incredible. Check this out. Don't be frightened. I'm in perfect. Don't. Don't want to make an enemy of me. Got it.
I'm in danger.
Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 5 is full of fixes and new content. One of the biggest additions being that you can now recruit the Drow Paladin Minthara without the need to eliminate the Tieflings and Druids of the Emerald Grove in a murderous spree. Let's dive in and show you how to get Minthara to join your ragtag gang while still keeping that war crimes record squeaky clean. Well, most of them.
Silence now, creature, or I will silence you forever.
Instead of the old convoluted set of steps involving polymorphing Minthara into a sheep while trying to recruit her in a good playthrough, you can now do the following. While in the Goblin Camp freeing Halsin and eliminating the Goblin Camp leaders, knock Minthara unconscious rather than killing her outright. You can do this by toggling on the non-lethal passive in your passives bar. There are some additional conditions you need to meet to pull off the full recruitment. Before knocking Minthara unconscious, she needs to have the condition of temporarily hostile. You can force this condition by attacking her without Halsin visible in your party, or by stealing something in front of her and then attacking. This needs to be done either before you talk to her about the Grove, or after promising to help her purge the Grove. She needs to view you as a potential ally, after all. This should leave Minthara alive, unconscious, lootable, and still satisfy the Goblin Camp clearing conditions for a good aligned playthrough. You can verify that you've done the steps correctly by walking out of the room, long resting before fully clearing the camp, and walking back to Minthara's chamber to see if she's alive and standing in the room. You'll need to reload the game to a save before that long rest, or knock her unconscious again. Otherwise, Halsin will not see the job as completed. Once the Goblin Camp is complete and the party at the Grove has ended, continue your game as normal, making your way to Moonrise Towers. Here, the game should trigger a scene at the foot of Kethric's throne, where Minthara is put on trial by her commanders. After a gauntlet of wisdom checks to talk your way through the segment, you can convince those that would execute her to throw her into the underground prison instead. Head to the prison down below and follow the blood trail to the interrogation chamber. Here you'll find Minthara being tortured, her mind being melted psychically by her captors. Convince them to leave the job to you, or kill them outright. Once Minthara is freed and has joined your party, you'll need to either fight or talk your way out of Moonrise Towers. Should you try to fast travel, you'll have to leave Minthara behind. Should all of this be successful, you'll be able to find Minthara at camp near Halsin's tent as an ally. From here, you can treat her as any other companion, give her her gear back, and enjoy the fruits of your labor following the enemies to lovers trope to your heart's content. For all things Baldur's Gate 3, head to our wiki, and keep those dice rolling with IGN.
The body comes
Goodbye
loose,
for now.
revealing a tunnel.
I will see.
Perhaps you can escape where he failed.
Still blocked, but should be easy enough to clear.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
just leaked that Microsoft raises the price of all Xbox Series consoles, Xbox games, confirmed to hit $80 this holidays. We understand that these changes are challenging. This actually just released this morning on May 1st at 9 a.m. It is 11 a.m., so this is hot off the presses. Xbox is raising prices on Xbox by a lot. In an announcement today, the company said it will be raising prices on Xbox consoles, controllers, headsets, and some games. The price hike for consoles and accessories kicks in today, May 1st. Chad, does anyone have the article of the Nintendo prices? Can you link me that from like 2 weeks ago? If you have it, I'm just curious. I want to compare some things. Prices will stay the same for now. We should expect to see Xbox charging $79.99 for new first-party games around the holiday season. Price increases are taking effect globally, with the exception of headset prices, which are only going up in the US and Canada. I guess it was only a matter of time, and you know what this is going to probably do? This is going to try to be a push people to Game Pass. If you haven't noticed, the last few years, Xbox has done a lot of heavy lifting to push mainstream titles into Game Pass on launch. The reason for that being is a subscription-based model is predictable, and you don't have to rely on hype cycles. So, for example, right, Call of Duty every year, let's say, sells 1 million copies, right? Every holiday season, when Call of Duty comes out, you get a big boost in sales from 1 million Call of Duty sold, right? That's great. What if the Call of Duty flops, or if it doesn't do that well?
Poor lad. I could give you peace, you know. But no. You gotta keep silent, don't you? Where do they flee to, you stubborn rat?
Please, stop!
Oh, a drow. I didn't see you there. Please, if you want to have a try. The git snuck in here with his mates, looking for some forgotten thing. Said they ran to some kind of grove. He doesn't want to tell us where it is, but he can't resist forever. Course, now that you're here, we'll gladly let you take over. Oh, of course. There's weapons in the fire if you want them. We'll leave you to it. Come, Grush. Let's go. I don't think I've got the stomach for this. I want to watch that weird priest next door. Sounded like he was beating something up. Oh, yeah, beating it good.
What? The prisoner? Please, let me out. There's no reason for this. I was with a group of adventurers. We came here for an artifact. It's called the Night Song. We tried to sneak past the goblins, but they ambushed us. I didn't think a pack of goblins could be so efficient. Thank you.
The lock clicks and opens.
Thank you. I should be able to make it to the Grove on my own. They need to know they're in danger. The Grove. To the east.
Greetings, child. I've met few aside from goblins here. Ah, are you also here to assist with the prisoner? Your tastes must turn to the exotic. If I was invited to discuss pain and its intricacies, but pain without purpose is a terrible thing. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, he's just over there. Pain should be intimate and loving. Forgive me, but that look in your eyes, something terrible has happened to you. Do not be ashamed, child. We've all suffered in thee. Please, let me alleviate this pain.
You got candles all round you. Use them.
Oh, yes. Everyone howls when they're on fire. Please give me a sword. We want you dead, you dumb knuckle.
We treat the spiders real kind.
Get down there and stop complaining.
Trap. Be cautious.
Bet it's nice being a drow, strutting about like your arse is made of diamonds.
I command you, corpse. Speak. Reveal truth to the Absolute. Nothing.
The hobgoblin turns to you. You taste the ale. The visions cloud your inner eye for a brief moment once again. The elf speaks of the hunt for a great weapon, and the rewards that will go to whoever finds it. The hobgoblin's eyes gleam hungrily.
Another drow trousseau. As if there weren't enough of you.
He doesn't speak his next words.
You ever talk to a dead squid? Now's your chance.
Your skull sizzles with Ragslin's.
I speak for the Absolute, and I say, you stay.
This Mind Flayer's build is smaller, its garb plainer. A fearsome creature even in death. Yet it too roamed the Nautiloid.
Absolute says the dead squiddy had a weapon. I reckon we find who killed it, and we find who took that weapon. So settle in.
You feel Shadowheart's anxiety. The weapon the Absolute seeks. It's the artifact that she carries. Her mind focuses. Their suspicion cannot be aroused. They cannot discover that the weapon they seek is within their grasp. You choke on black smoke as
I command you, corpse.
the hideous corpse rises, tentacles writhing. Your heart seizes. Under questioning, the creature might recognize you as its killer. Ragslin's mind reels, then calms. He will speak as you command. With Ragslin's voice, you ask.
What were you doing in Faerun?
Ragslin scowls, shocked by his own words, and a jolt shoots through your skull. The creature speaks in visions. A swarm of Githyanki dragon riders, silver blades held high, control panels melting, flesh pods spilled open.
Githmans. They know something.
He is suspicious, confused by the question that fell from his lips. You proceed carefully.
Why were the Gith chasing that ship?
You see dark tunnels lit by noxious pools of brine. The darkness spreads through the earth. The sky splits open and nautiloids pour out of a void that consumes the stars.
What in the...
Suspicion floods Ragslin's mind. Your brain howls as you force a final query into his throat.
Who killed you, freak?
Another vision consumes you. A memory, seen through the creature's soul-dead eyes. You see a clawed hand open a holding pod. Devoid of flesh, only darkness.
That can't be! Wait! Hold on.
Ragslin pierces your mind, prodding for truth.
It's you. I want this disrespect lying down. I'm the boss. I'm the absolute right hand. Right hand, huh? Sounds like word spreading. You're right. You're a real true soul. I felt it.
The corpse collapses, silent once more.
No, no! I'm not done! Riddles, all of it. And nothing to show for the trouble but rotting squid meat. No answers, no killer, and no damned weapon. That damned Drow was right. Can't let her get all of that glory. Seems I ain't done with you. Report to the Drow. Minthara's the name. She's mounting an attack on that blasted grove. Tell her you'll join her. Praise the Absolute.
No prizes for guessing what this weapon they're after really is. The artifact.
If that's the case, we've got more problems than just the worms in our heads.
Glassy. As you gaze deeper, you feel a focus, an intent. You feel a brief, lurching connection, confusion.
elf scouting party has not returned, and half of the intruders escaped your guards.
Sorry, mistress. We mucked up.
Until their sanctuary is found, I will take something precious from you every hour that passes. A trinket, a tongue, a limb.
Ain't no use without my limbs. The lad'll make the prisoner squeal soon enough. I swear.
Silence now, creature, or I will silence you forever.
As she turns to you, her thoughts mingle with yours. A cold hand caressing your brain. The chamber melts away to reveal a dark, endless nowhere. In it you see a vision. The drow listens as a pale-eyed young woman whispers in her ear. One of those the voice spoke of. One of the chosen. The vision fades away.
A true soul? Praise be. Are you here to join my hunt? Worshippers of a false god. There is a weapon the Absolute seeks. I'm sure those
Her excitement is palpable. She lingers on thoughts of victory, of unbelief, and of the weapon. She will seize it, in the Absolute's name.
The thief, whimpering in our dungeon, tried to flee to their sanctuary. We will continue to remove parts of him until he He's been resilient, but he'll talk.
She is seeking the grove you visited. Already you feel her mind closing around yours.
Speak, true soul. The hunt must begin soon.
Don't get too comfortable, you horrible sacks of muck. Drow might need us any time.
Ain't been comfortable since we've been here. I miss the swamp. What a nice that swamp was.
Need something?
Whatever, right? Like, or other games that come out throughout the year, you never know what's going to go on. But you know you can predict. You can predict $20 a month every month for the whole year. It's better for companies, in this case Microsoft, to have that because they can confidently go to investors and be like, next quarter we are projected to raise revenue by 3% because everyone's buying Game Pass and we know that they're using Game Pass. And it's also, especially right now, easier for a person to pay $20 a month for a bunch of games than to pay $80 once for a single game. And so it's becoming, it's like a rent economy, you're right. But it's also a bit of a trap on that. Like, don't get me wrong, Game Pass is actually very good. but it's to get you to get comfortable with having it, and then it just becomes a reoccurring charge every month, and you just constantly buy it, and you constantly have it. This is something they've been setting up for years, by the way. This is years in the making, and now they're making their move. And it's the right time for them, because you can also just blame it on tariffs. Going forward, here are the expected prices on various Xbox consoles and accessories in the US. Oh, here's the new, this is gonna be here we go. Xbox Series S 512, $379, up from $299.99. Xbox Series S 1TB, $429.99, up from $350. Xbox Series X Digital, so no game tray. I'm guessing like no like hardware reader, no Blu-ray reader, etc. $550, up from $450. Wow, $100 increase? Holy shit. Xbox Series X.
La playa is Spanish for the beach. If you can't remember that, the word Corona also works. Corona, la playa awaits.
$600, up from $500. Xbox Series X 2TB Galaxy Edition, $729, up from, dude, what the wait, they're percentages. Wait, so they are gonna say it's all tariffs. And I mean, a lot of that is actually true, but as you go up, it's not like a flat increase, right? Like, oh, we need to make more, so like we're raising the price on everything, all the consoles, $80. It's like, the more expensive the console, the more of a price increase it'll get. Xbox Wireless Controller Core, $65. Color, $70. Special Edition, $80. Wireless Controller Limited Edition, $90, up from $79. Wait, are these not changed? Are these like the same? Or are these also changed? Xbox Elite Wireless Controller 2 Core, $150, up from $140. The Controller Series 2 Full, $200, up from $179. Xbox Stereo Headset, $64.99. Xbox Wireless Headset, $119 or $120, up from $110. Oh boy, that's a lot. You can see other price ranges by region on the Xbox official announcement page here. Microsoft issued IGN with the following statements as to why price increases were taking place. This is going to be the interesting part. We understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensure value for Xbox players. It's the perfect time for them, right here, given market conditions. So right now, everyone's going to be raising their prices because of tariffs and other things. I mean, even if you went and every tariff disappeared right now, like tomorrow, you would still feel the ripple effects for weeks, for months, actually. And so now is the perfect time. They've been waiting to be able to raise prices for forever. There's been debates in gaming for years of should games be $80 or $90 or $100, and everyone's like, oh god, GTA is going to drop at $100, it's going to change everyone's mind, and you're going to be able to get away with other things. Because the only companies that were stupid enough to do it were EA, and they did their quadruple A title. It fell apart. So now they can do it, and they can be like, oops, it's not our fault. Sorry. Though we don't know it yet. Which first-party Microsoft games will cost $80? We can guess the lineup may include many mainline Call of Duty. The new Fable, which was recently delayed to 2026. The Perfect Dark reboot. Exil's Clockwork Revolution. Rare.
A path to redemption? Or a road to damnation? Hard to say, for your journey is just beginning. What would suit the occasion? The words to a lullaby, perhaps. The mouse smiled brightly. It outfoxed the cat. Then down came the claw. And that, love, was that. They do know how to write them in Cormier, don't they? Well met. I am Raphael. Very much at your service.
Neither. The fox, rather. Hiding, in a word. A silent observer, about to break the silence. Of course, what I have to say merits some privacy, as well as some more, let's call it, refinement. There, come. There, middle of somewhere. The House of Hope, where the tired come to rest, and the famished come to feed, lavishly. Go on, partake, enjoy your supper. After all, it might just be your last. Not easily rattled, I see. Good. Makes the next part that much more straightforward. What's better than a devil you don't know? A devil you do. Am I a friend? Potentially. An adversary? Conceivably. But a savior? That's for certain. Oh, a mere trifle. How dear is one's soul, really? A rhetorical question, of course, but let me venture an answer. It's worth very little with a tadpole in your head. One skull, two tenants, and no solution in sight. I could fix it all, like that. And what is madness but a denial of reality? Still, I've a feeling you'll change your mind before it's changed for you. Try to cure yourself. Shop around. Beg, borrow, and steal. Exhaust every possibility until none are left. And when hope has been whittled down to the very marrow of despair, that's when you'll come knocking on my door. Hope. Such a tease. I've always wondered what a laughing mind flayer sounds like. All those pretty little symptoms, sundering skin, dissolving guts, they haven't manifested yet, have they? One might say you're a paragon of luck. I'll be there when it runs out.
I got bread. Bread.
Whatever killed those gnolls might be nearby. Careful.
Cut it out. It's worse than nosing.
Nothing.
Who's there? Please, keep your distance. You're welcome to shelter here, but we've grave injuries to tend to. A devil, the most deadly foe we've yet encountered. We are paladins of Tyr, Lord of Justice. He sent us after an infernal being, straight out of the Nine Hells, hiding in the form of a one-horned tiefling. She slaughtered countless refugees fleeing the Absolute. Yesterday, she butchered an entire family without mercy. We were lucky to survive our encounter with her. Fool. All you'll get is a broken skull. Let's move. Just like old times.
Can't even catch my breath. Breathe deep and move.
Onward. Leave no trace.
Let's do this.
On my way.
Need to act fast. Moving.
Nothing will stand in my way. Another step forward.
shall be done.
Light on my feet.
Pawn to cleric 4. Step back. Subtle.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
Let me enjoy my seedlings.
Best lineup, content it's seen in years, but it might be in the best state it's ever been. I wonder who said something about that. I wonder who said something about that back here the other day. And then I made we traveling to TikTok about it. We're like, how much are they paying you? How much are they paying you? To all agents of Overwatch, on February 12th, 2025, game director Aaron Keller assembled the Overwatch team to debut an Overwatch 2 spotlight presentation that was set to explore what the future holds. With years of painful decisions in the rearview mirror, fans are slipping between fear and cautious optimism, leaving little room for excitement as it became clear this was a make-or-break moment for Blizzard. What followed was a 34-minute breakdown that included a detailed content release schedule, copious amounts of changes players have to see and plan for years, and most importantly, transparency. So, can I tell you something? Little fun facts, by the way, Chad. I've been told by this by people like outside of our gaming bubble. Like we're talking like extended gaming, like way the fuck out there. Apparently, that clip of me and Aaron playing Overwatch, that spotlight, me playing with him watching, went omega viral in so many other places. Like, not just my tweet, but like other people like clipping the same tweet, like sorry, not my tweet, TikTok, clipping the TikTok and like doing their own version of it or putting it in different places. And to a lot of people, I guess that was a big moment because no one had really seen Aaron act that way before and kind of saw the passion and the fun and the great,
Here goes nothing.
you know, the love that the guy has for the game. And in their words, changed their mind about it. And I was like, damn, that's actually kind of crazy. So,
Bloody hells.
I won't lie.
Literally.
That Spotlight did a lot of
No.
did numbers.
He knows our
and I've only
secret.
maybe listened to
He
a couple
claims he
things
can
like
help.
Cinematics or an anime
What do you
or
make of
like
him?
some kind of big cultural shift thing. I think that'd be interesting to see. Continue though.
Do that again and I'll leave you to... And watch out for Raphael.
Plagued years past, Overwatch 2's 2025 outline felt attainable. Damage and support heroes Freya and Aqua made their debut there, as did Stadium, a revolutionary third-person competitive mode poised to shake up the tandem of standard matches. Loot boxes, the controversial monetization tactic left behind when the original Overwatch was shuttered in 2022, were back with tweaks that made them more rewarding without entirely money.
Time to see what's new horrors waiting for us.
Back here, opening 100 loot boxes. It was a little bit of clickbaity because I could only get to 87, but the amount of comments on that saying how much money did you spend? A little bit concerning because nobody knows that they're actually free rewards. And Blizzard even managed to further detail its plan to bring back 6v6. It was a waiting list of tangible additions and more content Overwatch players had seen since the launch of Overwatch 2, and most of it would be added within only a few months. I don't know why a Samito tweet is on here. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun playing 6v6 perk watch today. It makes me feel happy to say Overwatch has finally found the light on this path. Post-ban 6v6 open queue perk watch is the best state the game's been since 2020. It looks like hero shooters will stay winning. I don't know why they chose the same post, maybe because it's always been super critical of the game. Maybe that's why. But I mean, there's an echoing sentiment of the same tweet.
God,
now in April,
not
boxes,
to be labeled
Freya,
a war
Stadium,
crime.
classic balance modes, and more have been executed on Blizzard's mission to turn the page to a new chapter of Overwatch. It has been a much-needed break from the monotony, insanely seasonal content releases, coupled with exceeded expectations to those who were justifiably worried the hero shooter would never be seen in a positive light again. There's debate among what triggered such a rat.
Alright, let's take these gooners out before they get to our base here. Alright, we just need to get a little bit more money before we can upgrade. Let's take out this last wave here, and nice, we just got an upgrade. It's taking them out so much faster already, and we're getting way more money. Okay, we have enough for another upgrade. Let's go ahead and get it. Nice, we're just oiling them up. Let's go. This game is too easy. This is the top survival game of 2025, King Shot. You're the governor of a town, and it's your job to keep everybody alive. By day, build your base and manage your resources. And by night, defend your territory from waves of invading. And I'm honestly willing to bet you won't get past night 2. But if you think you can, go ahead and tap this video to download King Shot for free today.
Change in strategy, but there's There's no denying Overwatch 2 is currently backed by a team that wants to see it succeed. This is a different Blizzard. Agreed. We all know we know what the debate is. Everyone says it's Rivals, and don't get me wrong, Rivals is the greatest thing that ever happened to Overwatch. That's not why Stadium was made, though. Aaron came on my stream and said on stream that they've been working on it since before the launch of Overwatch 2. He said about August of 2022. Overwatch 2 launched on October 4th, 2022. So before Overwatch 2 even launched is when they started Stadium. So that part was not Rivals. Third person? Maybe. Hero bands? Absolutely. Them actually putting money into marketing dollars? You know what? Dude, there's an ad. There's a YouTube ad and a Twitch ad. Apparently, I'm in it. Have you guys seen it? The ad that I'm in from Stadium, or not Stadium, from Spotlight, they actually are spending marketing dollars on the game and actually spending money to get people's attention. Actually, kind of insane. I saw they started doing sponsoring streamer stuff again. They're spending money on YouTube ads, Twitch ads. I haven't seen like Twitter or anything like that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, they're actually putting stuff out there. There was a train station in Shibuya, in Japan. Yeah, someone have a link to this Shibuya ad. I'll show it on stream. They have a whole wall advertising Doki Watch. Watch is huge in Japan. You know, Buzz is a better promoter than John Cena confirmed. That is the dumbest thing of all goddamn time. Like, we all know that, right? Like, that was so stupid. That was like the most corporate executive thing I'd ever seen. Like, some 60-year-old executive was like, you know, we can really get this game going. Kids like John Cena, right? They didn't even do anything with the game. They literally just appeared in a 30-second video, and that's it. Like, it's that. They pulled themselves out of the gutter with this one. Reddit user Right Entertainer said regarding to the Overwatch 2 Spotlight. Super excited for the future of Overwatch 2 for the first time in, well, ever. Experience tranquility through ups and downs. It has been about 7 years since Overwatch was the titan fans originally fell in love with. Even with the onslaught of kept promises bombarding players for both season 15 and 16, Overwatch 2's current season, your average fan has every reason to believe the other shoe could drop at any moment. And it's been that way since February, yet Blizzard is charging forward. The decisions of Aaron and the team have led the game to a healthy state of growth and competition. I think that deserves praise. Let's be honest, Overwatch 2's development history has been troubled. A popular post from Reddit user Imperial Viking said, "Why do I recognize that name? I feel like that's a chatter that's here sometimes. When PvE was cancelled, we all thought it was the end. Now comes season 15. Overwatch has turned the corner, and the future is looking super bright." They continue. All in all, I think it goes without saying that the devs have been really hitting it out of the park recently. People calling it lazy is just plain wrong. There are, of course, still issues with Overwatch, and there always will be. But the decisions of Aaron and the team have led the game to a healthy state of growth and competition. I think that deserves praise. Reddit, Discord, X, Twitter, on these platforms, there has been a vibe shift on every platform where people can talk about Overwatch. Posts praising Stadium are all too likely to show up on fans' feeds, as are comments from players thrilled Season 6.
Get ready to rise with more shine. Introducing the all-new Sealy Posturepedic collection, now at Ashley, featuring precision-fit coils arranged right where you need them for targeted support, night after night. Sealy at Ashley. Wake up to what's next.
Essentially giving players the option to never play with or against pesky heroes like Sombra ever again if they don't want to. Of course, Blizzard is only just lifting off when it comes to the journey to rebuild and the goodwill it's lost over the years. Absolutely, that is 100% true. They've been at it for a long time, but unfortunately this stuff takes years, which sucks, but that's the truth. Overwatch fans surely won't let it forget the damage it's done, but the change in attitude is undeniable. Content creator Neandra wrote, "Let's talk about the state of Overwatch 2 video, examined the hero shooter with a fine-tooth comb last summer. Remains cautious but tells us they feel pretty good about where things are at now. They believe fans are starting to come around too, thanks to a few key additions. I think particularly critical player base is what to be somewhat expected with games that try to be forever game and are part of your daily routine," they explain. "I think the Overwatch community is getting happier." Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, that's like a year old, but I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I'm still keeping my prediction. We're on month 4. For 6 months, we have 2 months to go. I think in 2 months, there's going to be a big influx. Within the next 2 months, there'll be a big influx of curious Rivals players who are going to be upset with that game, or that game's going to up, or they're going to get tired of it, and they're going to be like, I want to try Overwatch. I mean, it happened today. I've been playing Overwatch today. I'd say I saw 40 different people say, hey, listen, I'm going to try Overwatch for the first time, or I'm trying Overwatch for the first time since 2017. Any tips? / how should I get into it? / like, how do I get into it? Like, you know, along those lines. And I only ever see a giant influx like that if something like this is happening, or if there's like a major event. So, granted, small pool of people to pull from.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
I wouldn't be surprised if ex-Overwatch players have curiously checked out the game again recently. It feels like the momentum of Perks into Stadium and Freya has brought a lot of goodwill. Honestly, I think Freya is the least impactful of all of that. Not to be that guy, but I feel like most people don't give Freya right now. I haven't even seen like anyone talk about her. Yeah, sorry. Morale in the community felt really low during the release of Marvel Rivals and within its following month, especially since Overwatch didn't immediately respond with sweeping changes. Upon reflection, that was probably the correct move, as Marvel Rivals is having its own issues while Overwatch has released big changes. That was the correct move, and I remember talking about it way back then, and I got crucified for that. Man, it gets old, man. I wouldn't be surprised if ex-Overwatch players have curiously checked out the game again recently. Stadium has now established itself as a core component of Overwatch 2, but its importance does not stop at the fresh gameplay. It brings to the 9-year-old hero shooter a game mode as radically different as this, has players engaging in good faith discussion about what could make it better. It will take time for the community to fully wrap its head around the value it could add to the free-to-play experience, but mostly they're just enjoying the ride, which is the correct way to do it. One clear point of criticism has revolved around the fact that Stadium lacks a quick play option. As a result of cross-play support, while it's barred groups of friends on different platforms from testing it out, its many character builds and synergies, most assumed a mode in its infancy would be fleshed out with more features in future seasons. That, along with Blizzard's usual reluctance to reveal its hand, is why it was so shocking to see concerns addressed just days after complaints emerged. True. They literally made a post about it, like on Twitter, on everywhere, saying like, hey, these are the complaints we've seen, like from you guys, and this is what we're doing about it. God, it's so nice to see this. One Reddit user commented after Blizzard promised to tackle highly requested features like crossplay. Click on it. Yeah. So this is like what they ended up putting out. It was like Instagram, Twitter, stuff like this. Basically saying like, this is the feedback we've gotten. Here's the top 3 issues.
My magic will protect us.
Heard, lack of crossplay support, high labor rate, performance on older systems, and then they talked about what they were doing to address them, or if they were like big issues still on their radar. So people were big surprised at that. Literal immediate update on feedback they've been given, making no promises about being transparent about what feedback is and how they intend to handle it.
Accident
really
or sabotage.
Of community communication, and they've been on for like the last year or so. I've said this for forever. I will continue to say it. The Overwatch community team is the best in gaming, and it's not close. They are extremely transparent. They're quick to respond. They always ask for feedback. They want to know what they can do better, and they always kind of seem like they're there to help. Whether you're a streamer, whether you're an average player, whatever it is. That's generous. Okay, let me expand on that. Because there are games that I would, now that you say that, probably you are right. That might be a bit of a stretch. I think for a AAA free-to-play game the size of Overwatch, it is the best. I think that there's smaller ones, smaller games, like I would think of like Warframe as an example, would probably be better, for sure. But I would also argue Warframe is probably a much smaller game than, say, Overwatch. It's a bad thing, I'm just saying, like, in terms of how big the game is versus the community, versus, like, how many people they have working on it, I think Overwatch is definitely up there. When I said that, I compared in my mind to Apex, Valorant, Rivals, you know, like the juggernaut games, you know what I mean? Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, stuff like that. That's kind of what I thought about when I said that, right? Fortnite probably as well. I don't have a whole lot of experience with Fortnite, but I would be surprised if today Fortnite was better at it. I'd be very surprised. Does this mean Overwatch is back? Overwatch has been a black sheep in gaming for a while. A once great staple of the multiplayer world fell from grace and spent years finding new ways to fall further. That is the craziest sentence I've ever read. Spent years finding new ways to fall further.
Now there's a shop around, and you might be right.
Interest in what it can
We've had
be.
no luck so far. I'm not about to trade a vampiric master for Khazad, my old master. Creatures like them don't play games.
Many agree
Unless they know
that there
they
is
can
one
win.
trump card Blizzard could play to get its
Maybe.
community fully invested in the future
But
of
he's not
Overwatch.
the only one
Traditional
spinning a web for
story
us.
cinematics.
This is not. And why are we
tie-ins
important
each
enough that
amass
a
millions
devil
of
comes
views
knocking on our
release,
door?
But were largely abandoned when Blizzard shifted its focus to the game itself. Still, considering it helped draw a connection between players and the characters that help hold the experience up, these videos remain one of the most desired, if not the most desired components fans hope will return. It feels like Overwatch has spent the last few years focusing on the game itself, which has been wonderful, don't get me wrong. What does mean the reach outside of it feels limited, which is true. Leandra added, Overwatch feels
Carla.
much like
Me! Never been better.
Oh, fuck me. It's you, from the Nautiloid. Please tell me I found you before those so-called Paladins of Tyr did. Now that's a story, and I'll tell it to you, but truth be told, we shouldn't stay here too long. See, these Paladins of...
A great heat roars through you. Her heat, fiery as the hells. Then you're lost in visions of demonic armies as you tear through a landscape of fire and blood. The Blood War. You saw it from above as the Nautiloid passed through Avernus. This woman was on the front line.
What was that? Fuck's sake. Mountains as far as the eye can see. Guess that explains the voices. From that peek I got into your head, you've made some inroads trying to get the thing sorted. But alas, no joy. I'm Karlach. And you are... Well met, soldier. Now that we're old pals, how would you feel about helping me kill some evil bastards?
Kinda already killed him.
A little background, if your moral compass needs something to point at. You already know I fought in the Blood War. I was good at killing demons. Really good. So good, Zariel, the Archdevil herself, made me her personal attack dog. I played along until I could get the fuck out of there. Took me 10 years to properly escape, but now I'm free. Zariel sent goon after goon to hunt me down.
Goon.
But believe me when I tell you, I'm not going. The latest yappy little dogs she sicked on me are nearby. A group of dopes posing as paladins of Tyr. Want to help me take them down? You did? That's incredible. You ought to let me return the favor. We can team up, evict this parasite, and take Faerun by the short hairs. Sound good?
She's, perhaps a little rough around the edges. But I suppose I can be smooth enough for two.
Now we're talking. But hey, if we're going to travel together, I think there's something you should know. Hear that? Infernal engine for a heart. Lets me burn as hot as the hells. Seems to be running in overdrive since I left Avernus. Won't be seeing my mechanic anytime soon, so I've been making the most of the extra heat. But it's meant I can't get too friendly. If I'm excited, nervous, scared, I'll light you up like a firework. Well now, maybe I could make his acquaintance. A Titan screw or two might let me keep a little calmer. Maybe even manage a pat or bump without burning someone to death. In a long time. If you can lead the way, I'll gladly follow. Looks like your troops all trooped up. You'll need to send someone packing if you want me to join.
Oh, gladly. This circus is all yours, my friend.
Now we're talking.
Where we are in relation to the water.
From this distance between...
that still is true, even from a year ago. Following Blizzard's February event, Overwatch has managed to jump up from being the most negatively reviewed game on Steam of all time to having mixed reaction from players. As the team continues to invest in additions like Stadium, a long-awaited return to 6v6, its consistency in the long term will be the key to determining if Blizzard is able to reclaim all the ground it's lost. If
So,
the last
hey, we've got this soul coin, right? Thing is, I think I can use it. Zariel used to top me up every now and again when she wanted me to go after an especially wicked target. Sort of. Next time we find ourselves toe-to-toe with something we want to squash, drop a coin in. See what happens. Fuck yes. Now I just need something to sink my teeth into.
months or anything to go off of, it's absolutely doable. I think
This is me running a 10K with two different anti-perk spreads. A Carpe on one armpit and a big brand on the other. Why? Because I had to know which one actually works. The results were shocking. Mile 1, I'd be dry on the Carpe side, and the big brand was already sweating pretty bad. Then we got to mile 2, and there was a tiny spot on the Carpe side, but the other side had a huge sting. And then came the bridge. It was a brutal uphill climb, and I was dying. Then I hit mile 3, and the Carpe side definitely had a little bit of sweat, but the other side was looking way worse. It was hot, and after mile 3, I was kind of just trying to stay alive. I finally made it to the finish line, and I was soaked in sweat. Yeah, I was drenched. Carpe didn't completely stop my sweat for a full 10K, but it held up for nearly 3 miles. Just imagine what it could do in normal everyday life scenarios, like in the office or on a date. Right now, Carpe has a huge deal where you can get up to 56% off.
we've entered a new golden age of Overwatch. Hero shooter, content creator, and longtime Overwatch player. Oh, it's me! Wait, that's me! Believe previously said during a recent live stream. Wait, that's me. Wait, it's my Flash 2 vid. That's me!
What's cooking?
That's me! Hey, that's me! Overwatch is potentially in the best state it's ever been, and it's not even close. Better than the launch of Overwatch 2. Wait, that's a little bit misquoted. I said potentially better than the launch of Overwatch 2. Okay, better than the PvE missions came out. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I misread this. Oh, no, I did say this. Okay, I misread. I thought that was about my second half. Dare I say better than the Overwatch 1? Okay, this was the launch of Overwatch 2. I was thinking it was Overwatch 2. Overwatch 1. I got them mixed up in my head. Okay. The only time, maybe not, is the 2016 hype when it first started, arguably. True. Okay, I didn't misquote. Okay. Overwatch 2's Season 16 kicked off the next phase of Blizzard's grand scheme last week. It introduced newcomer Freya as its latest damage hero, with this week ushering in a mech-fueled Gundam collaboration. Future seasons are said to come with a Diva mythic skin, a Reaper mythic weapon, additional stadium characters, and more. And time will tell if that's enough to revive Overwatch to its former glory. Let me answer that for you. No. What is everything that has been currently happening, continuing to happen, keep moving forward. There's a few things that are going to be a little bit of an up in the air, right? Stadium is really cool and fun right now. You gotta remember, Stadium is like 16 characters, so there's a lot to do, a lot to play. How many characters are going to add every season? They don't add, in my opinion, at least 3 a season, I think that's going to lose a lot of steam. 3 a season is the minimum. 1 tank, 1 DPS, 1 support would be ideal. I think they need a cinematics / an anime / like some kind of like Netflix series, whatever. They need to work on the brand image outside of the game itself. I think that some smaller things can be done, like bringing back battle passes and letting people earn rewards from previous battle passes. Hell, if you really want to make more money, let them buy the previous battle passes if you want. I think that you could also make an argument that there's going to be a new barrier or a new potential battle with Rivals in Season 3, I think, shifting to its once-a-month new hero format.
Overwatch needs to do that. That sounds crazy. But Overwatch's schedule currently is every other season. The season's 9 weeks, so that's about every 18 weeks is a new hero. When your biggest competitor is pumping him out that quick, I would definitely keep an eye on how fast they're doing it, and if they're able to do it and it's done well, there could be an argument made that Overwatch might need to slightly pick up the pace with its hero releases, because what the hero releases are now is technically the same cadence as 2016. It's not any faster with a bigger team and with more people in a more modern setting. But they need to be, if they do that, they also need to be able to keep the polish and the consistency that it currently has, right? That would be a very difficult thing to do. Very, very difficult thing to do. But if you want to talk about improvements, fighting for a top spot, these are things you have to consider. You could argue against it, right? Like some people say, like, Overwatch might not be balanced, but like, Overwatch's balance right now is
beat it. I was raised in the city. I'm more used to feeling cobblestones underfoot than grass and fallen leaves.
And if you don't like something, you can ban it now.
Before I went to Avernus, I'd have agreed with you.
Horrendous.
Nothing quite like Baldur's Gate.
The only thing that held Rivals together is hero bans. And now Overwatch is hero bans. So it's like, balance-wise, it's a bajillion times better. Also, what Overwatch has going for it now is now the reputation of a competitive game. Overwatch is starting to develop the reputation as being a competitive game, which means they can be a little bit more aggressive with their balance. Rivals, for example, wants to be more of a casual game, and I think they're going to spin out really hard. And they've already kind of knee-jerk reaction to a lot of community sentiment. Not even in the best way. There's still a lot to be said though on that front. But I do think that there's definitely a tone shift.
For the love of all this is holy, I've never clapped eyes on your poor sister.
/ few months from now, it looks like.
Drop the app. You was the last to see me, Rena.
Just let her go. Please.
Thank goodness you're here, sweetie. I don't know what's come over these boys.
Stop this. We won't ask again.
Careful. Don't trust a word out of her mouth. Our sister went to the Hag, and we ain't seen her since.
Hand over heart, I don't know their sister. I will gladly help you all look for her, though.
Enough. Where is she?
Bollocks! You were supposed to rush to my defense, love. Fat lot of good you are. Some advice? You ever darken my door, you'd best have that head bowed and an apology at the ready. Bye-bye now.
Bloody hells. She just disappeared. Ain't seen nothing like that before.
She could shoot fireworks out of her backside for all I care. The Hag has Rena.
It's our sister, Mayreen. Next thing, she's... And we haven't seen...
None of this matters, all right? We need to get her back, and fast! Are you joking? I ain't got a clue who you are. No way I'm leaving Rena to you.
But, Joel...
Not a chance. We're getting her back on our own. Now, come on.
Something bit me.
Just an insect. I'm sure you'll survive. Besides, it probably figured you for a table.
A chill runs up your spine. You feel like you're being watched. The place has a quiet sense of calm.
Watch how you go. There's a trap.
Blood everywhere. Someone wasn't as fortunate in their choice of campsite as us.
I wonder what kind of creature could have caused so much damage.
I'm still blown away that a mostly positive Overwatch title on IGN, an IGN article. Because these are typically hard drama farm, you know, Overwatch sucks because Mercy players, I don't know, kicked puppies, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever read these before, they're typically a little out there, so, cool things to think about.
I'm willing to give away if anyone knows anything about Clash Royale. For $5 in Clash Royale, can you tell me which team won Clash Royale? Yes, Clash Royale. What are the options? Red or blue? Say red.
An ally fresh from the hells themselves.
Can you name a character in Clash Royale?
The company grows strict.
Name a character! Sorry. Download Clash Royale now. It's free.
Sheep's voice warbles. You realize it's true. The sheep stares at you with unsettling malice. The smell of rot assaults your senses as the illusion vanishes.
Jets, Season 2, far too early tier list. It's only been 4 days. But everyone...
A diminutive creature sporting a red hat glares at you. He seems unaware that his illusion has failed.
The brothers.
That noise. Is the creature pretending to be a sheep?
Hi, it's Wednesday, April 30th. You're tuned into Why America. I'm Legia Miller. Let's get started. CBS's 60 Minutes has been embroiled in an ongoing lawsuit brought against it by Donald Trump in retaliation for an interview it aired with candidate Kamala Harris, alleging the news program deceptively edited the Harris segment and asking for $20 billion in damages. In February, the FCC, led by Chairman Brendan Carr, who looks like if Trump advisor Stephen Miller and director of the OMB Russell Vought had a baby. Why do all these men look like this? Brendan Carr, chairman of the FCC, reopened an investigation into CBS related to a news distortion complaint that had been closed under the Biden administration. Meanwhile, CBS's parent company, Paramount, because if you just go up the chain a bit, there are approximately 6 companies total that control all of it. Paramount is trying to merge
You
with
catch a
Skydance
waft
Media,
of
but
something
because it's
foul,
clearly monopolistic.
metallic, and sickly sweet.
Powdered iron vine. Most monsters will think twice before making a meal of me. An old hunter's trick. If you can't mask your scent, spoil it. Ha! Perhaps that's why I've survived so long. We're more fearsome. You would be wise to look past the seeming of things. If you intend to bargain with the Lady of... That is why you came to her lair, I take it. To bargain. Because this is her domain. Her kind have hidden among us since the first darkness. And their knowledge is matched only by their spite. Know how to ask, and they'll share that knowledge. If you're fool enough to pay their price. A powerful friend, a terrible foe. That I cannot decide. For my part, I need her knowledge. The thing I hunt has gone to ground. If she can tell me how to flush him out. I'll pay whatever price she asks. Go ahead. The Lady of the House. Truth is like a blade, my friend. We can, or just as easily find it pressed against our throat. I would not put you in danger.
Perhaps I was hasty with my words.
I hunt a vampire spawn called Astarion. I'm bound to bring him back to Baldur's Gate, alive. Though I cannot swear to his condition once my tribe are done with him. Is he known to you?
My people were recently attacked in the night. Our camps, in the chaos of battle, one of them stole away with our children. We believe this Astarion knows exactly what happened that night and where to find our little ones. If captured, my people will make him talk. So I ask again, is he known to you?
My good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. I was just settling in and reviewing my latest findings. Mind flayers, cultists, and, of course, your esteemed company. Why, the druid Halson had some kind of mind flare specimen in a jar in his quarters. A replica, no doubt, but truly fascinating to see up close.
Behavior, they have to get governmental approval for the merger. And so Paramount, through its board of directors that are set to make a ton of money if the merger goes through, is trying everything it can to appease Trump, because they know the only way to get anything with this government is to kiss the king's ring, his tiny, itsy-bitsy, tiny little ring. Because of this, the increased scrutiny of CBS News and especially 60 Minutes, which is actively fighting a battle against said tiny little king,
have you noticed any residual psionic malaise? That's quite impossible. He'd have undergone ceremonies by now.
Anything critical of Trump or related to the ongoing fight against the Palestinians
If what you say were true,
in fact, Stephen
you'd
Miller
be
Russell,
a mind
Chad
flayer
Brendan
by
Carr,
now.
chair of the FCC, has explicitly threatened to block the merger over what he called illegal DEI efforts. Because, of course, they're not concerned with the monopolistic tendencies
I'd
or
be
enforcing their own
irresponsible not to
regulations
debunk
that
such a
legally bar
strange
monopolies.
claim.
They're concerned with imposing their worldview on the pesky, liberal, elite mainstream media that keeps doing things like fact-checking them. So annoying. Thank you to my partner on today's video, Lumen. Spring is here, and I am ready to go outside and feel good in my body after a winter spent hibernating. But I know firsthand how incredibly frustrating it can be to be trying to do all the right things for your body and to still feel exhausted all the time, which is a real downer when the weather gets nice and everyone else is outside enjoying themselves. After the stress of the pandemic and a stint working an incredibly demanding job as a corporate attorney, my body was messed up, to say the least. I had gained a bunch of weight, lost my period, I was constantly tired all the time. something was wrong, and this experience sent me down a rabbit hole, learning everything I could about health, wellness, hormones, metabolism. Turns out it's all connected, and it's not as simple as calories in versus calories out.
I knew you were a strange man, but a fugitive from the hells. Not that I want to give him the wrong... Plus, I appreciate anyone who opens a conversation with threats of bodily harm.
And that's where Lumen comes in. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. In less than 30 seconds, first thing in the morning, Lumen lets me know whether I'm burning carbs or fat for fuel. And this is really important because when we can easily shift from burning carbs and fats in our
vagabonds? Why would they... Khazad-dûr.
On day one, the ACLU jumped into action to protect everyone's rights and freedoms from Donald Trump's agenda. The ACLU has already filed more than 100 legal actions against Trump's unconstitutional and dangerous
so find a vampire spawn sounds perfectly reasonable. Second, they're the reason I'm like this in the first place. I would have died had Khazad-dûr not appeared and saved me.
Bill Owens suddenly resigned, saying, quote, over the past months, it has also
well,
become clear that
he didn't mention the slave clause at the time. And now he sends a girl monster hunter for me.
Right for the audience.
It's
he
a
cited
message.
editorial differences with Paramount and said it's clear
He's reminding me of his power.
And then, in the final minute of the 60 Minutes program on Sunday evening, top correspondent Scott Pelley used the time to call out Paramount by name and Trump and lament the resignation of
Maybe he
Bill
wants to make an example of me, to show what happens to runaways. Or maybe he thinks death is too good for me.
Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways.
We just have to be vigilant, keep our wits about us, and kill any monster hunters on sight.
The independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it. But in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes.
Perhaps if you lost a follower in that case.
60 Minutes has exhibited since it first came on air in 1968, nearly 60 years ago. Scott Pelley didn't speak in hyperbole or clickbaity terms. He said Paramount wants a merger. Trump must
Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much.
Period. And this isn't just happening at CBS and 60 Minutes. The Trump regime's attempt to control the news covers all branches of the media ecosystem at this point, mostly perpetrated through Brendan Carr, whose FCC has sent notices to NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, NPR, and Comcast recently, which received a letter from Carr stating that the FCC was going to investigate Comcast, parent company to NBC Universal, for promoting invidious forms of discrimination in violation of FCC regulations and civil rights laws. Through, of course, DEI initiatives, whatever that means. Carr further asked that Comcast supply the FCC with an accounting of Comcast's and NBC Universal's DEI initiatives, preferences, mandates, policies, programs, and activities. CBS has also been ordered by the FCC to hand over proprietary materials, which it did back in February, after which the FCC published the material online, including the entire transcript of the 60 Minutes interview with Kamala Harris, which showed that the editing of the segment, which couldn't have aired in its entirety because of time constraints, did not misrepresent anything. In addition to sending threatening letters, Brendan Carr, who also authored the chapter in Project 2025 about the FCC, has also opened complaints against ABC for its moderation of the September 10th presidential debate, because again, the fact-checking violates their rights to spew disinformation, as well as a complaint against NBC for having Kamala Harris on as a guest on SNL 3 days before the election. It's been pointed out that he did not open investigations into Fox, showing obvious bias, but also, of course he didn't. Let's not pretend anyone is even trying to make it seem like there's fair and even governance happening at any level of the federal government. But this is important to note, given the fact that the FCC is meant to be seen as an impartial regulator, not subject to the whims of any one administration. The FCC is also not supposed to meddle in the editorial decisions of media companies because of that pesky First Amendment, which bars the government from trying to control or punish speech. And considering the fact that we think corporations should have more rights and say than humans do in our government, this First Amendment right also includes the right of these media companies to have editorial independence from the government. The lack of editorial independence and the increased oversight and coercion of the state is an important element for any authoritarian government. Much stock has been placed throughout the FCC's history on ensuring that the commission at least upholds an appearance of impartiality. The FCC was created through the Communications Act of 1934, and it's composed of people, and at least one member of the board is required to be from a different political
Nothing important is ever
without
easy.
giving an inch. With broad selection and industry-leading warranty, you can count on Icon. You can count on...
During the administration of, say it with me, Ronald Reagan, the traditional regulatory aims of the FCC were flipped on their head when Reagan began wielding it to deregulate the media, including by revoking the Fairness Doctrine in 1987. Under that rule, the FCC required broadcasters to cover issues in a fair, nonpartisan way and to give ample airtime for public office seekers. The Fairness Doctrine had long been opposed by conservatives who argued that it favored the liberal media elites and infringed on personal rights of broadcasters. The Supreme Court regularly upheld the Fairness Doctrine, saying in 1969 that free speech was the right of the viewers and listeners, not the right of the broadcasters, and that it is the purpose of the First Amendment to preserve the uninhibited marketplace of ideas in which truth will ultimately prevail, rather than to countenance the monopolization of that market, whether it be by the government itself or a private licensee. The Fairness Doctrine was created at a time when there were only a handful of available airwaves, and so the scarcity required a level of control to ensure the public interest. In the 80s, Reagan and the FCC argued that cable TV meant that there was a greater availability of all types of shows and reporting, and therefore the free market and self-regulation should determine what airs, not the government. And then, under Clinton, the Telecommunications Act of 1996 dramatically reduced FCC rules meant to stem corporate monopolies, opening the floodgates of media conglomeration. Before that law was signed, about 50 companies controlled 90% of the media. Today, only 5 or 6 control that same percent of the market.
Pigs,
The Telecommunications
children,
Act of 1996
and people
also
with a
included
little bit
Section
of grit.
230, which is notorious for removing any and all responsibility from the shoulders of websites for the content which gets posted on them, meaning that things that Zuckerberg or Musk allow to proliferate on their websites, no matter how vile or cruel or against the public interest or against the law, will never implicate the Zuck or Elon for wrongdoing. And I delve into this history in part because we were discussing it last night in my monthly TV.
It's shaking you for good after the mind flare shit. You just can't get enough of me,
In
can
order
you?
to understand what's happening at the FCC
Carlac,
today.
Advocatus Diaboli, the stink of Avernus. The devil's head. And yours. If you so much as...
A great fire roars through you, the fire of the first hell. You are the blade of frontiers racing through the wastes of Avernus. Just ahead, a diabolical figure, red skin, single-curled horn, blazes with flame, bloodied great axe held high. He chases the fiend, ignited with rancor. She is an infernal war devil, a threat to the living, evil incarnate.
Your ally's a fraud, a soldier in the Archdevil Zariel's army. Either I cut her down, or she burns the Sword Coast to ash.
I've tried to tell you, I am not what you think I am. I...
Another vision. Karlach's blade raised, slicing through devils, Zariel's servants, as her eyes dart around, seeking escape. The man shudders with Karlach's desperation. She is a victim of the Blood War, not an agent of it.
By Baldrin's helm, No. I will not be tricked.
You saw the truth. I may be an effective soldier, but I never wanted to serve Zariel. Legged it away from her the first chance I got.
And yet you served. No! Devils cannot be trusted.
Would you listen to sense? This doesn't have to end badly. For either of us. You know monsters, right? Better than anyone. Look into my eyes. Can't you see I'm not what you think?
Shit. You really are no devil, are you? I've been deceived.
Thank the gods. Thought I was gonna have to take your head.
You would have died in the attempt. But there have been enough threats today. Truce?
I'll do you one better. Allies. We're looking to get rid of these parasites for good. And ruin some bastards' days while we're at it. Sounds like your kind of venture.
I've not grown any tentacles yet, thank Baldrin. But luck won't be on our side forever. Yes, you have my blade. Your leader willing, of course.
Well, soldier, what's the word?
Sorry, but there's no room for me. Well met. And 1,000 sorries. I've pledged my life to protecting the meek from monsters. But tonight, I was the rampaging beast. I see the good in you, Karlach. I promise not to lose sight of it, even when the hells burn hottest.
The famous Blade of Frontiers in the flesh. Clever, this hero act you've got going.
Hero, blade, names strangers gave me. My friends call me Will.
Excellent. If we ever become friends, I'll know what to call you.
Glad Will saw sense. Even more glad he decided to stick around. Takes a pretty slick mover to track down old Karlach. Fair, but still, the man's got a reputation for being lethal with that blade. I'm glad it's on our side.
You've been witness to a pantomime, I'm sorry to say. And I've played my part all too poorly. I can say only this. Karlach's not the only one who's had a villain's knife held to their throats. One night soon, when we make camp, the veil will be lifted, and I'll pay my penance. You're not in any danger, I promise. I can't say the same about me.
So, we're traveling with the famed Blade of Frontiers. I feel safer already.
Despite the original intent of the creation of the FCC back in the 30s, which, as Current Affairs recently described, quote, positioned broadcasters as public trustees in charge of cultivating an informed citizenry and safeguarding the public interest. The FCC has undergone radical changes throughout the years.
Yeah, literally. Creamer Nation!
Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. My good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. My research turned up a rather... It's not too deep. Just behind the orbital socket. I could... I assure you, I've dreamt of it 1,000 times over. You only have a matter of days to live.
Fetid smell assaults your nostrils. Dead flesh lies below.
I don't want a crumb left on that plate, girl.
Auntie Ethel, please. One more bite and this pie is gonna come back up to say hello.
Don't make me get the wooden spoon. You're eating for two, so get to it. If it isn't the cheekiest pup of them all. You best have one hells of an apology for me, Petal. How shocking. Another barbarian with all brawn and no brains. You know, I was gonna give you a swift kick up the arse and show you the door. But I think you and I could have a bit of fun together. Gods grant me patience. Eat up, Mayrina. I won't say it again. Keep that hole under your nose shut, or things will get messy.
That hag doesn't tell us what to do.
What is it? What's going on? That can't be true. Auntie Ethel.
They were being rude, and I detest rudeness.
You monster! The deal is off!
Enough! Away with you! Blessed silence at last. Some time in the cage should do her good. And you'll regret sticking your nose in my business.
Game. There we go.
Still on my feet.
Swords meet sorcery. Let's light them up. Can you feel
Let's go. Outmaneuver them. Let's have a little fun.
Incoming.
Where do I go from here? Very well.
Enjoy playing with your new friends. Bye-bye.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I don't know how much. What was 6%, 7% human?
Siggy's Gear, full of protein, less ingredients, less sugar. Less sets you free. Decor Days is here. Up to 50% off select furniture and decor. Ends May 5th on HomeDepot.com.
Okay, guys, Clash Royale just announced the Golden Knight, the Cannon Cart, and the Goblin Hut are getting big reworks. And they said, what other cards do you think need a rework? This is the first time they've ever done something like this, if I remember correctly, where they announced reworks after the set of work in progress balance changes, and they actually gave their reasoning, communicated their reasoning and ideas behind it. Donald, the guy in charge of the balance changes, did that. So honestly, I think this is really, really cool, and I expect this to be perceived well by the community, at least the communication aspect of it and the reasoning why, because that's sometimes what we wonder, like, what was the thought process and the reason behind these changes? Well, let's get right into it. I'm going to watch this video with you guys, give my opinion on everything, and then look at what the reaction of the community is afterwards.
Yeah, these changes are somewhat coincidental, but it's better to change multiple things at once instead of every month, like one random card getting reworked. It'll just make it easier to learn everything at once. Hi, I'm Donald. I'm a gameplay designer on Clash Royale, and we're going to be talking about card reworks. We've buffed Golden Knight.
Here we go. Excited about this one. This card has sucked for who knows how long now. Over a year, bare minimum. He has been considered the worst champion by far, and it has not even been close, so definitely he needs something.
Twice last year, pretty significant buffs, but it just never moved the needle on its place in the meta. How many more buffs does he need? 3, 5? We believe it just needs a rework to the ability at this point. I don't know, where is it in frame? Like, old ability was very complicated.
Yeah, you can see, like, it took forever for people to understand how the Golden Knight worked. I remember that when it first came out, especially, it's just like, even some of the best players in the game were so confused where the heck it was going. Like, it just felt so random and luck-based sometimes, so maybe that's part of the reason why they're doing this rework as well.
The 6-step system with semicircles and a bunch of geometry, but ultimately what it meant is he can't dash backwards, and if you played cards like Goblin Gang behind him, it would just fully counter the ability, and we're changing that. The new logic is we're removing all the semicircles. You can dash backwards, it'll be a full 360-degree radius, and it won't be counted.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Like, it being able to go backwards is a game changer, because think of all the differences that's going to make, especially defensively. Like, let's say there's a push coming in, maybe it's like something with the Royal Hogs, it's like you could play it on the unit behind the Royal Hogs first, right? Maybe it's like an Archer Queen, so you want to attack it or something like that first, and then boom, pop the ability, and then it dashes backwards and hits the Royal Hogs. So many different situations, it's just going to give way more value. This is a very nice rework. I would just almost consider it a direct buff, in my opinion, but I guess they consider it a rework because it's changing the champion that we've known for such a long time.
Countered by behind placements, it'll act much more intuitively. We're reworking Cannon Cart. We're removing the shield and replacing it with what we call a segmented health bar, just like Goblin Demolisher. We're doing this specific rework for bug fixing and more like technical reasons that are above my pay grade. There's just a lot of specific code in the game about Cannon Cart, and we're just trying to move it to a more generalized system and, you know, clean up the game. If you rocket the Cannon Cart now, it'll deal the full damage, not just break the shield or bring it to 50% HP. Some other cards, like Inferno cards, they'll keep charging even when it becomes a building. Before, they used to interrupt the charge and reset. And one of the bugs we're fixing that comes up quite often is Cannon Cart versus Evolved P.E.K.K.A. Evolved P.E.K.K.A. won't heal twice anymore. Now it'll only heal once, which is much more intuitive.
This one I'm a little bit unsure of if it's good or not. I'm gonna need to actually see it in the game and see how it plays out. Because it seems to me like this isn't really necessarily a buff or a nerf, at least an obvious one, and it more so depends on the actual situation. But this is one where I don't really think anyone necessarily asked for it to get a rework or a buff, and I thought it was okay how it was, but I guess I can understand the logic of the technical issues, and I don't feel super strongly about this one, but the next one I bet I have, you know, different feelings on for sure.
The Goblin Hut will work entirely differently now. We're completely reworking the logic. It's getting an art refresh, new card icon, views, sprites. Instead of passively spawning spear goblins, it'll reactively spawn them when enemies get close. So we wanted another...
This is Kingshot, the top survival game of 2025 that combines elements of strategy and tower defense in the medieval era, where a rebellion has turned rogue and ignited an all-out war. Now you must survive by managing resources, defending and upgrading your kingdom against invasions, then teaming up with other players. Think you can restore the dynasty? Tap below to find out and play Kingshot for free today.
I'm willing to give away if anyone knows anything about Clash Royale. For $5 in Clash Royale, can you tell me which king is the good one?
Clash Royale?
Yes, Clash Royale.
What are the options?
Red or blue?
Say red?
Oh, no.
Anti-air defensive building, just like Tesla, Cannon, etc.
My condition likes being ignored as little as I do. Must consume another artifact.
We just needed more variety in our defensive buildings, and this is just a great opportunity to rework a spawner and then also introduce another anti-air option. Plenty of cards in Clash Royale's past that have gotten like significant reworks, and I'd say are pretty healthy part of the game. Mortar used to cost 6 elixir, Rage used to not deal damage, Heal Spell became Heal Spirit. But spawners still haven't found their place after 9 or so years. They just don't really make sense in terms of like modern Clash Royale design, you know, where we want like back and forth battles and just a lot of engagement. Spawners just, they're designed to encourage to like sit back.
Mystra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent. I might just be about to remedy that. You have to know who I was. You have to know who I really am. What I am is a walking shadow of the promise I once held. I'm what one might call a wizard prodigy, who from an early age could not only control the weave, but compose it, much like a musician or a poet. Such was my skill that it earned me the attention of the mother of magic herself, the Lady of Mysteries, the goddess Mystra. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher. In time, she became my muse, and later even my lover. Oh, yes. We enjoyed each other's company. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard we mortals can become, we never scratch more than the surface of the weave. Mystra keeps us in check. There are boundaries she doesn't let us cross. Yet, every time I was with her, I stood on the precipice, gazing into the... I sought to cross her boundaries. Though not, I think, my methods. I tried to convince her. I pouted. I pleaded. Swore my ambition was only to serve her better. She only smiled and told me to be contented. Inconceivable as it seems to me now, I shared a bed with a goddess, yet I wasn't satisfied. So I sought to prove myself worthy to her instead. We come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it, or would you rather head straight to its sordid finale? Once upon a very long time ago, I'll save his history for another time, but the gist of it is that he sought to usurp the goddess of magic so that he could become a god himself. He almost managed, but not quite. His entire empire, Netheril, came crashing down around him as he turned to stone. The magic that was unleashed that day was Even the weave itself could not withstand the onslaught. It fractured, then shattered, and all magic was lost to the mortal realms, until the day Mystra returned. She restored the weave, reuniting all its scattered shards. Or so I thought. Until, in the course of my studies, I learned of a book. A Netherese tome in which a piece of the fractured weave had been sealed beyond her reach. What if, I thought, what if, after all this time, I could return this lost part of herself to the goddess? You know me. I was certain that this deed of raw power, draped in romance, would convince Mystra to take me by the hand, and I was mistaken. I obtained the fabled book and took it into my study. As for what happened next... Here. Place your hand over my heart. Let me show you.
You feel the tadpole quiver as you realize Gale is letting you in into the dark. You see through Gale's eyes, staring down the corridors of a dread memory. A book, bound, then suddenly opened. Inside there are no pages, only a swirling mass of blackest weave that pounces. Its teeth, its claws, it's unstoppable as it digs through and becomes part of you. And God says it ever hungry.
What is it? What do you see?
Thankfully, the moment I absorbed the fragment wasn't enough to kill me outright. It was only the beginning. This Netherese blight, this orb, for lack of a better word, is balled up inside my chest. And it needs to be fed. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, it remains quiet. Were it ever to fully destabilize, however. Rather worse, actually. I will erupt. I don't know the exact magnitude of the eruption, but given my studies of Netherese magic, I'd say even a fragment as small as the one I carry, it'd level a city the size of Waterdeep. Every waking moment, all of this, it must feel like a betrayal. Say the word, and we'll part ways.
You'd have us debate. That Netherese Jack-in-the-Box should be a blip on the horizon by now.
Absolutely. We're all risky in our own ways. We stick together anyway, right?
That is... truly are a soul that steals my own. From all my new rallied heart, I thank you. I thank you all. I understand if you stand against me. I'm humbled if you stand with me. Either way, I will do my best not to let you down. I stand at a precipice, but if you do not give up hope, neither shall I. I'll fight. Now. Even I am tired of the sound of my own voice. Let us venture forth.
I can't...
You are as thick as they come, sweetness. This is my personal playhouse, and you don't have an invite. Get out! Has that wriggler eaten your brain already? Leave, or you'll end up in tonight's stew. will go nicely with Mayrina. She's already marinating.
What is this place?
Shouldn't have wished to live in. What's that?
My dearest Ephraim, he begged me to hurt the deadly disease that ravaged him.
What's on your mind?
You feel crushing waves of fear as the presence within the door recoils. It can't let people through, not again. Images flash. A man cowering, a bag open at his feet. Gold coins spilling onto the floor. His cries for mercy are cut short as the hag slices into him, dismembering him painstakingly, limb by limb. She cackles. The man's remaining flesh, twisted and contorted, becoming the twisted surface of the door before you. Flee, you feel it cry. A scene appears in your mind. 2 paladins and a cleric marching through the door, shrouded in the glow of the divine. Weapons brandished, they charge into the hag's lair. Screams of terror pierce the air.
You let them in? Naughty. That's a decade for each. You're mine for 30 more years, Petal.
You see an image of blue skies and sunshine as the door shudders a warning. Run. The door shudders, imagining its wooden frame cracking and splintering in a raging inferno. You see the hag. She walks through the door, its form shimmering. With a jerk, you're pulled from the vision. You feel the presence within shrink, terrified.
Don't look. No. No! Don't look. Mustn't look, mustn't see. I see it. I see what's to come.
You realize there's magic at work. Some type of spell. An illusion.
Me. Dead. Dead! Flesh rotten, bone shining! Like all future! Always asked. No, gods, don't hurt me! Oh, please, 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 please! Drow! Never drow! Monster! Monster! For mind dripping, flesh peeling, mind flayer! No!
intention of letting that happen.
Stop. Please. Please. Away! Don't look. Don't. Stop. Please. Stop. Away.
A thief who tried to steal from Auntie. Now the good guards might home.
Look. Don't.
Feel the barest hint.
Auntie, be kind.
Yeah, I really like this idea because what it appears like, at least for the Goblin Hut, is they don't spawn until the units actually get close to them. So instead
That's
of it
what they
being just
said.
like a spawner that's continuously getting chip damage on your opponent's tower, it's now some more for the purpose of a defensive building, which I think helps make it unique as well compared to the Furnace and the Barbarian Hut, because people just lump them all together. And now the Goblin Hut is actually a lot different. Like, its sole purpose is primarily going to be defense and then a counter push instead of this chip damage after chip damage. It's just more like random, and it's just kind of like doing whatever, like he was saying. And with it being 4 elixir now, I definitely think this is a buff to the Goblin Hut. Not only is it going to be as toxic, or maybe have that, you know, that Sigma or whatever, the, not that word, gosh, what word am I thinking of?
The history of winning started with the 65 gators using steam, losing sweat.
We've identified the problem. What is the solution?
Scientifically designed to hydrate better than water, so they can.
I just woke up a little while ago, so losing my train of thought. But the whatever, the stigma of you know, it being considered just an annoying spawner. Now it's going to be a bit more skillful, hopefully too. So it upped the card while also making it more strategic too. I feel like so. I think they really did a good job of accomplishing that.
For future reworks, we're definitely keeping an eye on spawners, but we're also interested in what the community thinks should get reworked. Anything's on the table, and we're interested in the community's feedback to start working on the next one.
Yeah, so all around, I'm very excited to see the cannon card is the one I am not too sure about. Doesn't seem like it's going to, well, dead, completely OP, but I just don't understand why that one had to be changed. I mean, the bugs, yeah, there has been more of them appearing recently with it, like the hidden extra health it had, the P.E.K.K.A thing, things along those lines. Maybe the shield aspect makes it a tiny bit confusing for casuals. Let's see what some people are saying. How about rework fucking RG Monkey Recruits? No one likes these cards in any way. It makes a toxic brain dead meta that no one wants to see. Cannon card did not need a 5% HP buff, so yeah, the cannon card I guess apparently has a tiny bit more hit points in total now, even when you included the actual cannon card as well as the cannon afterwards into just what the regular cannon card is now. It's still, I guess, afterwards still has 5% more health is what he's saying, but I guess there's some things that counteract that. For example, like, now if things don't have to restart when it's like an Inferno Drag on top of it or something like that, when it's melting it, it just continues going. So really just kind of depends, and it's going to be situational, I feel like. Recruits. So cannon card is ass. Yeah, I was kind of thinking the cannon card, it did kind of get a small nerf. It seems like Golden Knight is broken and Goblin Hut still won't be used. I disagree. I actually think the Goblin Hut's going to be pretty dang good after this rework buff. I think the Golden Knight and the Goblin Hut are going to be really good. Let's get into the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. If you guys are not already, you can use credit code BOSS to support me in a Supercell game. And thanks again
competitive APY and membership rewards points
Pick
on
me
all
up.
business debit card purchases. You can redeem those points for deposits directly into your business checking account or transfer them to select participating travel partners. Access your account online or on the app, so banking has never been easier. American Express Business Checking.
Card Evolutions is arguably the most game-changing update Clash Royale has ever had. Ever since its release, dating back to June 2023, the game no longer plays the same. And for a good reason, because deploying a card with a wacky power-up for the same cost of the original card is undeniably a massive advantage. But how do you get these power-ups anyway? Card Evolutions are unlocked once you gather 6 Evo shards for a specific card. After evolving your card, simply drag it into the evolved slot in your deck.
What's on your mind?
This. In-game, your evolved cards will have a counter above them. Every time you play a card, it gives you 1 diamond. Once you fill up the counter above, your card will be evolved the next time you play it, and then you would have to refill that counter again to use the evolution a second time. Understanding the mechanic isn't enough because evolutions play very differently, so I will be explaining every single evolution released in 2024. Just one small thing, I kind of felt bad for the evolutions released in 2023 because I wasn't making Clash Royale videos last year, so I decided to include them anyway. Starting off with Skeletons, a 2-cycle evolution released June 2023. The first major difference is that you get 4 skeletons on deploy instead of only 3. Their ability allows them to duplicate every time they deal damage up to a maximum of 8 skeletons spawn at once. The limit is locked to the set spawn, so
Nothing
if you deploy a
good can
second
come of
set
it
of
unless it
Evo
is
skeletons,
contained.
you can get away with having 16 of them at the same time. The fact their ability triggers on attack means that Rage makes it trigger more frequently, thus making them harder to get rid of. And slowing makes them spawn slower, that's if you manage to slow them without killing them. The most effective way to take them out is a spell, which is always a positive trade for you. And even then, some spells like Poison and Nado fail sometimes because this...
Well, you've been naughty. And you know what happens when you're naughty.
Gods damn it. Anyone but her.
Now? But I'm just getting comfy. Call me Mizora. I'm Will's patron, the fount of his power. My pet's been unruly, and his leash needs a yank. We had a deal, Will. But Karlak's still breathing.
I've taken more pleasant shits than you, Mizora. And at least those can be buried after.
That's no kind of talk for a lady. By the way, Karlak, Zariel sends her regards.
You told me! Devils only! She's a tiefling, not a monster!
How precious. The little pupster's found his bark.
Clause G, Section 9. Target shall be limited to the infernal, the demonic, the heartless, and the soulless.
Karlak meets the criteria by virtue of having no heart. Don't you worry. That ship has long sailed the Styx. But a defiant pup must still pay his price. To wit.
Will burns in the fires of Avernus. The lightning storms of Dis strike his flesh. His soul passes through each layer of the hells, gaining their essence and their torment.
That's better.
What the hells have you done?
A promise broken, a price paid. You know the terms.
Get used to the new form, pet. There's no going back. Some magic even I can't undo. Now, let's see how the frontiers fare without their precious blade. Karlach, keep an eye on him, would you? I'll be keeping mine on you. Oh, and Will, don't forget, our pact still stands. Ta-ta.
I'll be honest, soldier. I'm reeling. Will hardly knows me, but he chose my life over his. Been a long time since someone stuck their neck out.
What's up?
You can say that again. When he was chasing me through Avernus, I thought he was just another sad merc. How wrong I was.
Trying to play.
Stop.
There you are, my friend.
Hey, you look beat up.
I have drunk. Not alcohol, of course. A bear. He took a little of my blood. I took all of his. You're comparing plonk to vintage wine. You can make merry with either. They're not the same. But Cazador fed me rats and bugs. And when you're used to drinking from a sewer, even plonk is a marked improvement.
Hello.
You. Not at all. Blood
Try to play Baldur's Gate, right?
And some creatures have
Why
so
not?
much more life than others. Cazador gave me just enough.
I don't know.
Well,
Just
alive,
maybe it's because
for
we
lack of a
took a
better word.
long break from.
never
No,
mind
not even that long. But we took a break from our watch, so I just want to keep
Still,
playing.
that was the past.
I got you.
I'll never have to grovel for him again.
Here, let me save real quick.
For sure, for sure.
Well, look at us. We've never been and being able to walk it through.
And also part of it might be just if I keep delaying it, we won't finish the game.
That's fair.